Hello, my name is Leila Sanchez, and this is my Milestone 2 overview. I would like to start by saying that I integrated all necessary features for this milestone on the existing tank project. Let's take a look at my updated shooting scripts. Sorry, it's a little slow. This is my superclass shooter, and on the tank shooter script, the instantiation and firing of bullets or shells take place. Here on line 60, I use the physics system to add force at the fire point transform of the tank. My tank shooter component is set to limit fire rate using the "Are we there yet?" method for a timer. On start, we are going to store the time we want the action to occur. Then every time we shoot or the shoot key is down, we're going to add to the timer and check if it's time to fire. And as I said earlier on the shooter script, on the main shooter component script, it contains the data for fire rate, fire force, projectile prefab, and the damage done. To look at my damage on hit script, or projectile class, it stores the damage done based on proximity within an overlap sphere. And that is right here. And it calculates the damage in area of effect damage here. It sort of has like a splash radius. This also ties into my health component script. So let's take a look at that. I'll get that open and come back. Here on my take damage function, the amount and owner of damage is stored. And more on the health component, the max health and current health are exposed up here for designers. My health take damage function correctly damages tank pawns, and it clamps the health in a range visible here on line 50. It also checks for death at line 52 if the current health is less than or equal to 0. And down here, my die function will destroy the game object that this component is on when it is triggered. And it also sets dead to true. Looking back at my damage on hit component script, shells are triggers that activate my health.take damage function for overlapping actors, and right here on line 64 that is the most visible. On line 84 you'll see where my shells actually self-destruct. Moving on, the only code difference between enemies and the player is their controller type. Let's take a look at that. This is one of the enemy tanks on the screen, and you'll see that they have the same scripts as the tank pawn that we control, the player controller. The only difference is that they are attached to these AI controller objects that control their movement scripts. Their AI controller scripts. If we take a look at my AI controller scripts folder, I have my base class or super AI controller class script that is the parent for these 3 separate personality scripts. So let's take a look at those. I will go more in depth about the AI controller script in a little bit. I just wanted to show that I do have it created and that these classes do inherit from the base AI controller class. And they all have their own version of process inputs, and some of them override functions defined in the base class. This is the dominant personality I created. My patrol personality. And I'll show the generic personality I have in place on the base class. I'm not currently using this. I just had it in here for testing purposes. And then I have all my functions here. In my prefabs folder for this project, I have created a prefab for both tank types in the game, as well as my bullet. I've got the leopard tank for enemy and this tank for the player. To quickly show my drawn finite state machines for my created personalities, I will attach them to my submission document. Here it is. This is my crazy AI controller personality flowchart. This was actually super helpful in creating the code itself. This is the dominant personality controller. My generic AI controller personality. And my guard or patrol AI controller personality. Not super complex, but they work. Going back to the AI controller script, I kept all actions and senses the AI use in the base script here, unless I overrode a function in a child class or anything like that. Looking at my controller script more in depth, I hold my chase action on line 186. Get that. And this will cause us to seek the target and target player 1. In my case, it's going to target player 1. In the same regard, my flee state is on line 195 right here. And I also have custom conditions of iskin here on line 392. There's a custom state, custom state, custom state on 392. I've got my isCan here and isCan C on 423. I also created some helper functions to target player 1 on line 343, for example, right here. And I can also target the nearest tank based on a list created of all types of pawn. Besides that, I tested and coded mainly on the main version for this project, only to ensure targeting functionality with the game manager. Let's now quickly navigate how I have this project organized. I have my art folder that for now just holds my UA tank FBX file. And then I've got my imports where I keep all my imported assets here, or try to. My materials, I created these. And these are the dinosaurs I imported. My custom prefabs, I tried to organize them by modules, so I will update this to reflect module 2. My scenes for my main and my testing. And my scripts folder is organized by modules right now. For module 2, I've got my AI controller scripts, health, noisemaker, shooter, and tank shooter scripts. And for module 1, I've got my controller scripts here, my pawn scripts, my example / test scripts, the game manager, my mover component, and I'm not using this anymore. This used to be my damage on hit component, you could say. And the tank mover I'm still using. Now I would like to demo my AI controller functionality. I gotta be careful not to kill myself here. But you'll see that if I go in view of these, after I am set to be the target, that they will chase and fire at me. Oops, I killed him too fast. I'm already his target, so he got aggroed to me. And yeah, that's their functionality. Thank you for watching.